What's going on, everyone? For USA Muay Thai, my name's Nate Freeman. I'm joined today by Allie Readmond, who is going to be representing us here in May in Thailand at the IFMA World Tournament. Allie, how you doing today?
I'm good, Nate. How are you?
Fantastic. Cannot
Good,
complain.
good.
So let's just jump right into your experience at the USA National Championships. You, in the semifinals, scored a decision over Jocelyn Breland, and then in the finals, you picked up a TKO victory over Venus Smith.
Mhm.
Talk to me about not only your experience with those two competitions, but the USA National Championships in general.
Um, it was really awesome. It was the first time that I really competed at that level. Um, I live here in Colorado in Denver, and the World Games qualifiers was here last year as well. So I got to kind of see the way that it was all set up without kind of the pressure of competition itself. And then this year ended up doing it. So it was incredible. It was like my favorite competition to date. The first one was a little more intimidating than the second one. But yeah, I mean, it was just a super crazy experience.
Do you think you had an advantage since you do live and train in Colorado? Do you think you had
Definitely.
an advantage of being in elevation and training in elevation over people who were coming in?
Yeah, definitely. I know that some people came out early to acclimate to the altitude, but I think neither of the two women in my bracket did that. But absolutely, I've traveled down to fight before, like down an elevation, and it's so much easier. I can't even imagine going up an elevation to try it. So I really props to them for that.
I've talked with people before who have trained both at Easton and at Elevation Fight Team and places
Hmm.
like that as well. And they just talk about how the first couple of weeks of training, they moved into Colorado, but you started off there. But they talked about when they moved and started training at Elevation that it was just so brutal to get used to. But um, once they got used to it, it's something that they can use in their game as a weapon, as their cardio. Is that how you see it?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, you never really want to rely on somebody getting tired in a fight. Obviously, you want to believe that they trained to the same level of, you know, cardiovascular fitness, whatever, as you did. You never want to rely on that, but it definitely helps. It helps to be able to train and fight at that same elevation, so that if it does happen, you can use it to your advantage if
That
they
makes
do get
sense.
tired.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
never like primary. You don't want to rely on it, but it's helpful.
absolutely.
Mhm.
So then let's jump to the IFMA World Championships here in May in Thailand. Um, I know that for a lot of people, this is their first time making the trip over to the birthplace of Muay Thai, and it's just such an they're looking forward to it so much. Are you one of those people who this is their first trip going to Thailand?
Yes, I have never been. I started planning a trip like this year for potentially going next year. But that this kind of just took care of it for me. So it's the very
There
first
you
time
go.
I've been and it's awesome. I'm really, really excited.
So two-part question. A, what does it mean to you to represent the country, represent the USA in an international competition, and carry that flag on your back? And B, what does it mean to you as a Muay Thai athlete to go to Thailand, not just to compete, but to experience the birthplace of Muay Thai?
Hmm. So I didn't actually get into Muay Thai thinking that I would ever compete. I basically just started it as like a way to learn how to defend myself if I ever needed to. And then just, this is the logical next step is compete. Obviously, there was a lot of stuff that went into that before that. But I mean, I never thought that this is the place that I would be at. But I'm crazy excited. I mean, Muay Thai obviously is not it's a relatively young sport in the United States. But I think that we do a really good job, and we can hang with some of those countries that have had it there for longer, and have been competing in it for longer. And this is the whole reason we go to the games too, is to gain that experience and bring it back to the states, just to kind of help develop our knowledge and the way that we teach it, and do it justice, especially from the motherland. Um, so I think it just kind of fell in, just the cards just kind of fell into place. I didn't think that I would get to go to Thailand for IFMA. It's crazy that it's the 30th anniversary and this is the year I get to go. So I'm really just excited to let it just wash over me and kind of take everything in while I'm there. It's going to be a learning experience for sure.
I know some of our athletes are planning on getting there early to acclimate to the weather, because that is something to get used to. So I've been told.
Mhm.
Are you planning on getting there early to acclimate and all of
Not
that? Or you
super early.
okay?
No, I'm gonna go, I think 2, maybe 3 days before. I think I'm not sure when the opening ceremonies are. I don't remember the exact day, but I'm gonna get there, I think the first. Um, it's all I could do with like my work schedule and everything. So hopefully the weather won't be, I mean, the elevation won't be a problem, but definitely the weather will be something to get used to for sure. My bracket's a little bit smaller, so I don't think I'll compete until later in the games. So I'll have a little time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, and we'll go ahead and get into this, that you got started in Muay Thai to learn how to defend yourself. And I think, based off of my research, there was a little bit of a mental health aspect in why you got started as well. Can you just share a little bit more of your story about why you started in Muay Thai?
Definitely. When I was 19, I grew up here, but I moved away for school. I went to kind of a bigger city. That I'm from a rural place, so it was just a complete culture shock. And I went to a frat party with my best friend, and I was assaulted at that party. So it was kind of later in the school year. When I came home for the summer, I opted not to return to school up north because it just fell into a deep, dark depression hole. So I transferred home and went to school here. And there was just a lot of fear that is associated with like just being alive, like leaving my house. Um, I almost flunked out of college. Like, my relationships kind of just went down the drain. It was, I mean, it was really, really hard. I was constantly operating in a state of being afraid of everything, no matter what it was. So I started seeing a counselor at the school at the university that I went to, and she suggested that maybe the best way, or at least like the first step to helping feel safe again, was learning how to defend myself if I was in an unsafe situation. And that's basically it. That's how I started it.
And from what I saw, you basically did a Google search to find kickboxing gyms, and uh, Easton was one of the ones that you came up with,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
that's how you got started there. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah. I literally just Googled
And
it. And this was one, I mean, it was close to my apartment. They offered like, it was something that was like affordable, and they offered like beginner level classes where you didn't have to like interact with other people if you didn't want to. I had some pretty bad social anxiety at the time. And so, I mean, that really appealed to me, and I got here and I really loved everything about it.
yeah, and the rest is history, as they say. But
Yeah.
let's go ahead and talk through some of that history. Like, what has your journey since then? How would you describe your journey since then? And what has Muay Thai meant to you since you got started all those years ago?
So it's been about, I think, exactly 6 years, to the day, I think, of the finals of the US nationals. And it just I mean, the easiest way I can describe it is it literally just completely changed who I am as a person. I don't know if there was like a morning that I woke up and was different, or if it was just like small changes kind of over time. But I developed like this, I've developed a confidence in just the person that I am and the skin that I'm in, that I don't really know when that showed up, but I stopped feeling afraid walking down the street. I started feeling like I was making friends, which is huge. I didn't know anybody when I moved home to go to college here. So having this community, like I still don't actually talk to a lot of people that I went to college with, but I have a lot of friends through this community. So it gave me that sense of just like, I belong here, and a support system. So it it made me somebody who is capable and knows that she's capable of doing hard things, because she overcame that and ended up, graduating from college and is doing really, really well. Um, is going to move on and do other things, obviously, but it it gave me the confidence to just know that I can overcome anything hard. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, like, I'm going to survive it.
One of the things I saw you mention was that you were terrified of doing interviews and stuff too. So we wouldn't be here without Muay Thai for multiple reasons. We wouldn't be
Yeah.
here doing this interview. We wouldn't be here talking to you about Muay Thai. But thank goodness for that. We're thankful that you found Muay Thai, and we're thankful that you are here right now. So I know that in your high school experience that you competitively that you competed in swimming, correct?
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, I'm curious how maybe that sort of background lends itself into um, your Muay Thai career. Is there some sort of, I'm sure that that helps with breathing and cardio a little bit, knowing to control your breathing. Is that the main thing, or is there any other factors that you think sort of helped you learn it quicker or anything like that?
It's mostly like it helps with breath control a lot, and I actually only recently started to make that connection. Helps with breath control a lot, and it helps with like connecting your upper body and your lower body. Because swimming, no matter what stroke it is, like you have to connect what your arms are doing with your legs, with your hips, and your torso and your shoulders, in order to make it like fluid and like efficient stroke. So that does help a lot too, because I think especially like now when I'm teaching students, it's hard for them to figure out how to move their body in a way that's like flowy. It's kind of like dancey. So connecting the upper body to the lower body is like the biggest piece of it that I can see. But it also, I mean, I was pretty competitive back then too, and it was a lot more academic related, but academic and like athletic like that competitiveness has definitely lent itself to me doing well so far here too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, so then, going back to Easton itself, you mentioned that you're a coach there.
Mhm.
What about outside of the communal aspect? What about training at Easton um, makes it your home? Like, Um, why have you stuck around there for so long? I assume it's because of the people, but is there anything else?
It's a lot because of the people. Um, it's also because obviously my coaches, Sean Madden and Steve Eisman, they're super knowledgeable and encouraging. And that's just like the, short version of the million things that I could say about them. But also it's a very inclusive space. And I feel like any combat sport, just by nature, tends to draw more men than anything else. And that's fine, obviously. But I want to make sure that women feel like they can do it and should do it. Whether it's as I started just to learn to defend yourself or to like evolve into the competition aspect of it. And this place has always, Easton has always been somewhere that like anybody could train. It's, Muay Thai is for everybody. Fighting's not for everybody, but Muay Thai is for everybody. And it's very important to me that women feel like they can be in a safe place. And this is one of those places.
I think I've asked every athlete this so far, and you've
Mhm.
sort of touched on it a little bit, but was there a point in your career, whether it was from competition or at some point during training, that you realized, I guess, that you were good and that you could compete? Was there a point that um, I don't know that you recognized like I am a good Muay Thai athlete?
Yeah, recently, actually. Um, there's not a huge scene here in Colorado. So everywhere I've fought here a few times. But there's a lot of, it's kind of more MMA here. So I fought here a few times and I'm not a small girl either. So there's not, there women are rare in Muay Thai and larger women are rare, even rarer. So I haven't fought here for a while, but it's sorry, I've had to travel elsewhere to have to do it. And I'm sorry, repeat the last part of the question. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, at what point did you realize there's something along the lines
Oh,
of
yeah, I
in
went
your
off the
mind?
reservation with it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so in order to compete, I have to travel elsewhere. So competing at, like, a high level regardless. So it was always, "This is the logical next step. I'm gonna fight this, this, and this because the opportunity is there," not necessarily because it was a higher level competition, if that makes sense. So, at TBAs last year, I fought somebody who was on the Canadian IFMA team, and she won. Um, that I hung. I have fought Bree Knitter twice, if you know who that is. She was on the IFMA team, I think last year, maybe the year before. I can't remember, but she's not competing in Thailand. She just won that Freedom Card title. Um, so it was like relatively recently, and even like right before the qualifiers, where I was like, I've put a lot of effort into this, and I can hang with these higher level people. And the only reason that I don't do as well sometimes is just my own brain. I'm not believing in myself. So that's really more of my battle than anything else. So yeah, pretty recently. Made it this far on not being confident.
And now that you are, do you feel like you're an entirely different athlete now that you have some of that confidence?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've stopped putting fights necessarily like up on this pedestal. I used to view them as um, only other people can do them at a higher level, and I'm just kind of also here. Um, dipping my toes in the water or whatever. But that's ridiculous. I have competed at a high level, and I've done really well at a high level. So they're not anything special really anymore. They're just experience. And to be the best, you have to fight the best. So that's the goal.
Well, yeah, you're the best American fighter in your weight category, so so there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into some rapid fire questions, just
Okay.
so people can maybe get to know you a little bit better. What is your favorite striking technique?
Teep.
Okay. Your favorite either book or your favorite movie?
Oh my gosh. This is very basic. I love all those old 80s movies. Breakfast Club is probably my favorite.
Classic, classic. That's a good one.
Classic. Yeah.
Your favorite, your favorite Muay Thai athlete, and then B, if that's not your favorite athlete overall, who your favorite overall athlete is.
Hmm. I have so many Muay Thai athletes that I like, both like golden era and like, 90s, early thousands right now. I love Janet Todd. I think she's incredible. And everything that she does is awesome. And I watch her all the time. But when I was younger, Katie Ledecky was a swimmer for the Olympics. And I just really admired her too.
My goodness, she's such a dominant athlete. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
um, so what, um, maybe looking back at 19-year-old Allie, who is just walking into Easton for the first time, um, where you are now, what advice would you give to yourself?
Keep showing up. Just keep coming. I always say like the I for practices on days that I don't really feel like working out, I don't really feel like getting hit, I don't really feel like, hitting back or whatever. I always regret not showing up, but I never regret showing up. So just set foot in the gym. Just keep going at the time that you need to be there. It's a good practice, it's a bad practice, good session, bad session, whatever it is. No matter what happens outside of life, as long as you keep coming back, you will, and put your focus where it needs to be. You'll get better.
I love that. Okay, post weight cut, post competition, whichever time you splurge out on food. What is your go-to food?
It depends. I have like the last few camps, I'll have like one thing that I just really crave the entire time. And then I'll get it and then I'll never want it again. Like I just don't eat it outside of camp anyway, but I really want it because I can't have it. The last few times has been just a really big cinnamon roll, huge cinnamon roll, and then pizza.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask about the cinnamon roll, um,
Okay.
because I know some people just eat the cinnamon roll as it is. Some people sort of unroll it.
Hmm.
Which side are you on that?
Unroll it. I think it lasts longer.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Um,
then the middle is the best part, so you can't just like cut straight into it.
yeah, yeah,
Ridiculous.
absolutely. Who was I talking to? Who was I talking to? Uh, oh my goodness, I'm blanking. Megan Washam.
Hmm.
I was talking to her about her favorite post weight cut food is pizza, but she says that it's pizza without cheese. So just like bread and sauce. So I don't want to cause division in the um, team before y'all even get together and meet, but I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Um, does she like meat on it? It's literally just like bread and sauce. Like that's a breadstick, which is also good, but it's not pizza.
That's what I told her, and I don't know, but um, that's a topic of conversation you can bring up with her.
I'll
She
ask her.
said she always gets a lot of weird looks, but that's something you can talk with her about, I guess. I just found
The
that very
cheese is so
interesting.
good. That is so strange. Everyone has their weird quirks, you know?
What are your weird quirks?
Uh, the only one that I can really think of is I work in an ER. And I ask everybody that I meet because I think it's a good icebreaker question. Everyone has like a weird thing about the human body that they do not like. Some people cannot do eyes. Some people can't do anything with teeth, you know? Mine is very, very specific, jacked up, like backwards facing ankles. That's the only thing that I cannot deal with when I'm at work. I make everybody else take care of those patients because I get so nauseous. I think I'm gonna pass out. Um, so that's my like one weird quirk. I don't think I have any quirks with food,
Hmm.
but I don't know. Maybe I do. I don't like fish because when I was younger, I was a swimmer and I've maintained this for my entire life and it's really weird. It's probably not the real answer, but I refuse to dive into it any further. Um, Fish are my kin, my family. I don't want to eat them.
You spent so much time in the water, you feel like you are their brother and sister.
Yeah.
That's I like that. um, yeah, and I understand being squeamish about
Yeah.
ankles going the wrong
Oof.
way. Yeah, that's
Just the one thing.
yeah. I eyeballs are my thing. Like
Don't like eyes.
I can't do contacts. Like I have glasses over there.
Really.
Like
Can't touch your own eye.
I can't touch my own eye. And I can't have
Man.
anybody else touch it, obviously. But um,
Bet the eye doctor is really fun.
yeah, I blink like that when they like poke it and do stuff. I'm like,
Oof.
that's a no go for me.
Yeah. Hard no. Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone has something. So
yeah, yeah. Okay, so before I let you go, I'm gonna
sure.
give you three different opportunities. How can people follow you on social media? B, how can people support your journey to Thailand? Because that obviously you mentioned costs a lot of money. I know that you're doing a seminar fundraiser to do that. I don't know if there's
Mhm.
anything else, but you can talk about that. And C, I'll give you the floor to shout out any sponsors, any coaches, anything like that.
Okay. Um, Mostly I'm pretty active on Instagram. It's at Allie, I think underscore Redmond. I'm trying to remember. It is a private account, but I'm letting everybody follow me. Um, the only thing that I am really doing is I am teaching a seminar in Denver. It is for our Easton community. But there is a link that is like for donations. And it's on our Easton's website under shop. I think there's like a shop tab at the top. So you can donate to that if you would like. You do not have to. I have a Venmo. If people are interested in giving from there, you can personally message me on Instagram. That would be awesome. Um, the only shout outs I have are for everybody in the Easton community. My team is incredible and I train with some really, really awesome people and awesome athletes. And my coaches, who have already mentioned, Sean Madden and Steve Eisman, are amazing and really, really good at what they do and so passionate and caring. I would not be anywhere without any of those people. So That's it.
This has been Allie Readmond. You can catch her competing at the IFMA World Tournament. Like she mentioned, the 30th anniversary this May in the women's elite. I can't remember the weight category at the moment. Can you fill that in for me?
It'll be 71.
All right, 71 kilos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Allie, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to supporting you and cheering you on in May.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.